Welcome to Veg-a-bond Chronicles, and today's subject: what do people do, homeless people, right? Because that's what we're talking about. What do they do during the day, right? While you work, what do they do? So let me explain to you what some people do during the day. So obviously, if you are at a shelter, it would go something like this, right? You wake up in the morning, you do what you got to do, right? You have your chores, and you got to clean up, and you got to eat some breakfast, and out the door, right? So what happens? Well, it varies, right? Like if you don't have a car, right, you can't get anywhere. If you don't have a license, you really can't get any help, right? If you can't show up to your appointments, what happens then? If you don't have an ID or something happens, because the thing is, people are people everywhere, right? And the thing is that most people out in the street, the reason they have nothing is because there's always someone trying to steal your stuff. Whatever you have, whatever that is, right? Whether it's your backpack or something that someone else envies and wants. And there's unhappy people out there that want you to be as miserable as they are. They want you to be, basically it's a crab in a bucket mentality. That's how that is out here in these streets, all right? So like for me, right, I go and do things like change the address on my license, or I go to some of my appointments that I make, right? Because I have a vehicle, right? I have a state issued license. And so I'm glad that I'm good, you know? Imagine if you didn't have your social security number, what would you be able to do, right? Imagine if you didn't have your birth certificate. So again, what homeless do, right? It's up in the air. It varies. Depends on what kind of documentation they have, if they have a vehicle, if they're not under the influence of something, right? So I'm able to go to my appointments. I'm able to take care of myself. I'm able to go to the grocery store and buy things for myself. I'm able to go and look for work because I have a vehicle, because I have my license, and so on and so forth. So can you imagine if your parents died? Can you imagine if you are children? Yes, children are also part of being homeless. I recently learned this. I was watching a show, Jimmy Dorn. I enjoy listening to Jimmy. I don't agree with everything he says, but I respect his points of views. And the reason I respect his point of view is because they're a little different than mine, and I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to move the goalposts to understand other people. See what I'm saying? And so I'm going to, well, throughout the video, you've noticed that I put some things up here because that's what this channel is about. I'm not here just talking about whatever I want. I'm here to try to give people that are living like normal people, right? You know, you go to work, you know, this and that, blah, 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 pay your bills, so on and so forth, get mistreated by the people you work with and stuff like that, right? That's what you do, right? And then you go grocery shopping and you come home and you're safe, and you know, you can take a shower whenever you want, right? And that's a beautiful thing, right? But it also costs you a lot to have all these amenities. Trust me, it costed me a lot, right? Think of some people that have a 2,700 square foot home with a pool and all that. That's expensive. Think of all the taxes nowadays, property taxes and inflation and so on, right? So that's a lot of people out here in these streets that are just normal people. They're just normal people. It's you and me, right? It's just how it goes because inflation, right? Things are getting way more expensive. Elderly, veterans, black, white, pink, purple, children out here, bro. Everybody's out here in these streets, okay? There's this person We'll just call her Ginger. And I asked her, hey, what are you going to do today? We were having breakfast, right? We were having breakfast and stuff like that. And yeah, that's my bike. That's my baby. This is what I roll with. You know, you're probably saying, oh, you're homeless and you got a vehicle. Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Like I said, this happens to anybody. This just happens with one mistake nowadays, right? You could be arrested. You could have a DUI. Guess what? That messes with your existence. You know, you may be saying, oh, well, you're not on the streets or this or that. Dude, I am. But it's up to you whether you stay in the streets or not. It's up to you whether you stay down or not. It's up to you if somebody pushes you down, and it's your job to dust yourself off. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to dust myself off and make the right choices for myself to set myself up for success. Finding a job, getting a room, right? Because let's say you live in a car. Guess what you have to deal with? Condensation, right? Those people who live in a car or a tent, you have to deal with condensation. That's a pain in the butt. People who have a home really don't have to deal with that. So I could see the value of having your own place. I'm not saying your own house, because that's a whole nother video. But what I'm saying is, what homeless people do vary depending on what you have or what you don't have. So if you don't have much of anything, like my friend Ginger, right? I asked her, what are you doing today? You know what? I'm not doing much today. I'm taking 3 steps out of here and I'm gonna sit right next to the door. I have nothing. I said, you're gonna sit here all day till this opens? She's like, yeah. I can't get a job because I don't have a vehicle. I can't go get a license or change anything on my license because I don't have a vehicle. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? This is the reality, people. If you don't have someone helping you out when you're out here, right, you're in trouble. You always need someone to kind of help you out with paperwork or an address. Can you imagine if you didn't have an address? You couldn't get a license, right? You couldn't get a credit card. You couldn't get mail, right? You can't even get a job without a license or an address of some sort, right? Look at all the things they ask you when you start a job, W-2 forms and so on and so forth, and this and that, mailing an address and so on and so forth. What if someone burned through all their friends? What if someone burned through all the help they had because of drug addiction or whatever addiction they had? Imagine that. So what are people doing? A variety of things. I'm making videos. This is what I'm doing, right? Because I'm in the process of waiting for phone calls, making appointments. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to this guy from the VA. I made an appointment. I got to go in, got to do some labs. The following week, go ahead and talk to the doctor and look at my results and so on and so forth. That's because I have a vehicle. You see? I have other ways that I can make money too because I have transportation. So can you imagine not having a car? You at home, right? Just like this young lady I was talking about, Ginger. She's sitting outside the door of Salvation Army because she can't get in, she can't go anywhere. That really hit me this morning, you know, and I was talking to my mom. I was like, hey mom, what would I be able to, how can I help this woman? You know, she has no money, she has no identity, you know, so I kind of, hey man, I have nothing. Well, I can't say I have nothing, but you know, I'm limited to what I have. But I also would like to help her out because everyone needs something, right? Deodorant, feminine products, male products, wipies, things like that. We all need something. And some of these people can't go anywhere because they don't have anyone who gives a crap about them. See? So remember, we do all sorts of things. We go to appointments, or we stay outside the door, or we just give up. Because Other people want to keep you down. Other people don't like the fact that you have more than them. This is how human nature is. This is who we are. Jealous, envious, hate. They want to take you down because either you're happy or you have more than them or you have a backpack that's better than theirs. It's crazy out here in these streets. I protect myself because I choose not to be out in the streets because I know I don't need to be out in the streets. I'm thankful that I'm a US citizen and I have my license and I've been able to have my birth certificate and everything else and so on and so forth. I'm glad that my mother's still alive to, if I needed her to get these things for me, she'd be able to. So think about some of the homeless men out there, seniors, that don't have anyone else. They don't have anyone else living. All their friends are gone. All their family members are gone. Their mom is gone. Their dad is gone. And all their siblings are gone. Imagine being the only sibling in your family. See how that goes, right? And you age out. And then nobody wants you to work anymore because you're too old and so on and so forth. And you have no retirement. You didn't put any money into your Social Security and so on and so forth. Some people work for cash most of their lives, and then what? There is no retirement. There is no nothing for them. So it's a variety thing of what people do, you know. And I'm making this video and documenting my journey because I want to make the public aware of what's going on. We're not all bad, you know. We're not all bad, you know, and you never know. I may see you one day, maybe. If you're in Texas, maybe I see you out in here in them streets. So this is Veg-a-bond Chronicles, and I will see you in a later video.